TikTok Shop ads launch in the US, new potential tariffs targeting Chinese e-commerce sellers, and Amazon, Walmart, and Target are battling it out for deals in October. All of this and more on this week's episode of The Weekly Buzz.
How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that is our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz, where we give you a rundown of all the news stories that are going on in the Amazon, Walmart, and e-commerce world. We highlight the latest new feature alerts from Helium 10, and we review a training tip of the week that'll give you serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. Now, today our host is going to be Carrie Miller. So, Carrie, take it away and let us know what's buzzing.
Okay, so the first story is that TikTok search ads campaigns have launched in the US. And I'll go ahead and show the article here. It's basically allowing for keyword-based search ads that target users directly in the search results. Now, if you're a TikTok user, you know a lot of the ads actually come on your For You page when you're kind of scrolling. So it's kind of a more generic approach. But now sellers can actually target keywords when consumers are actually searching in TikTok for something specific. So this is potentially stepping up competition with Google Ads as TikTok is becoming a go-to search engine in addition to becoming a social media platform. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article. If we scroll down a little bit, it says, previously ads on the TikTok search page were more generic, but now brands can tailor their ads to align with specific search behaviors. Now, it goes on to further say why this matters. It says that TikTok has a growing role as a search engine for younger users. 57% of users use the app's search function, according to internal TikTok data. And this new feature lets you capture attention at critical moments of intent. TikTok's move could threaten Google's dominance as younger users are increasingly using social media for search instead of traditional search engines. So if you recall, last week, Bradley actually did talk about this on the Weekly Buzz, and he said that there's a report that says over 50% of Gen Zers are going to be shopping on TikTok for the holiday season. So that's very interesting and very good numbers if you really wanted to start targeting on TikTok. And let's talk about the actual numbers of these actual ads. TikTok's testing shows that combining search ads with in-feed ads boost conversion by 20% with users who don't engage with an ad initially, more likely to interact with after seeing a related ad in the search. So that's very interesting information. So definitely something to consider when you are, going into Q4 and want to really boost your sales this holiday season. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the next article. Now, the next article is interesting and it's titled Tariffs Targeting Chinese E-commerce Could Damp Demand. Okay, so this is definitely something that is going to be very interesting for a lot of e-commerce sellers because as I don't know if anyone remembers, if you've been watching, I actually mentioned that Amazon is launching a direct-to-consumer program for Chinese sellers to sell directly to consumers in the US through the Amazon platform. And I mentioned this might make some US sellers a bit upset, because a lot of the small parcels, they're not taxed the same. You don't have to deal with the same logistics charges and things like that. So, this basically gives Chinese sellers a much higher margins because of the lack of tariffs, no warehouse and distribution costs associated with the traditional kind of container imports. There's a lot of other things that kind of go in with these small parcels. I know, for example, me as a consumer, I did order something on TikTok that I thought was going to be great quality and it was actual garbage. It actually was shipped directly from China through customs. So really kind of is an interesting, thing that we should really be considering for consumer protection as well as, for US sellers, when you're providing quality, then it's going to help boost you a little bit more because it's going to kind of close off this way of kind of things that are low quality coming into the US without having to even pay those taxes or being searched. So in this article, if I scroll down here, it says the White House this month said it would soon tighten eligibility and increase information requirements for low-value imports that qualify for duty-free status in an effort to prevent businesses from evading duty payments. It goes on to say a little bit further down, it says the proposal is expected to result in higher consumer prices for small shipments. So that actually could be, a better thing for U.S. sellers who are, offering the quality. But then if we go down further, this is really where it gets interesting for the consumer. Let's scroll all the way down. It says, Over the last 10 years, the number of shipments entering the US claiming the de minimis exemption has exploded from about 140 million to more than 1 billion a year, according to the CBP figures. And the US is on track to import nearly 1.5 billion parcels in the current fiscal year, 4 million per day. And that is actually going to end on September 30th. The overwhelming volume of parcel shipments has made it difficult for U.S. Customs and other agencies to enforce trade laws, health and safety requirements, intellectual property rights, consumer protection rules, and to block illicit synthetic drugs such as fentanyl and clothing made from forced labor from entering into the country illegally. That's kind of an interesting thing to take a look at, especially as a consumer. Like I said, it was like a hair oil that I ordered from TikTok and the quality was just garbage and it smelled funky. So, this is a consumer protection issue. Things that shouldn't be coming into the US are coming into the US because there's just an overwhelming amount. So this is definitely something that, hopefully will happen, and we can continue as our other sellers who are providing quality products can kind of beat out these sellers that are not doing the high quality products. Okay, the next article that we have here is about Google. Google is doing search tests in the shopping e-commerce card. So if we take a look at this article, you can actually see a little bit of what they're kind of testing. So the article is really stating that, Google's testing, it's using its top card format for shopping and e-commerce related queries and information. And this shows product results with pricing on the left, with popular stores on the right, and then some review content in the form of content and videos on the right side. So they're kind of moving maybe towards more video content. And I'll scroll down a little bit more in this article because this is what it usually looks like. And you can probably Google this right now and still see this. But we've got, the product with the picture and the price as well as the reviews. Whereas I think they're kind of moving more towards the kind of video reviews, since a lot of people are into seeing that kind of stuff on social media. So they might be kind of testing this out to see how they can compete with social media. And I think that's a really smart move on the part of, Google's, just for Google, just because they are competing with these other social media platforms that are becoming more like search engines. All right, let's go into the next article. And that is basically, if you missed out on Amazon Accelerate, I know a lot of people had FOMO because they didn't make it to Amazon Accelerate. You can actually experience it on demand. They are actually making all of the different sessions and everything that was recorded. It is available for on demand, and it's for free. So you can just register, you can just download all that stuff and kind of watch it as you're doing other things. And, just to kind of keep yourself up to date on the latest and greatest announcements from Amazon. So go ahead and register for that if you wanted to see some of those sessions and take advantage of that great content. And then next is another interesting thing, and that is that Target is just launched their Target Circle Week, and it's going to be for 7 days in October, from October 6th. Okay, so it's starting October 6th. And this is basically, a seasonal 7-day sales event that is going to feature holiday essentials, seasonal favorites, all this, that kind of stuff. What's really interesting is that, because of the dates, this is going to be competing with Amazon, which is the 8th and the 9th, and then also Walmart that is going to be starting up that week as well. So it's going to be interesting because Walmart's starting up a little bit after Amazon, but if you're selling on Target, could be kind of interesting because you might not get the buy box if you are selling at a discounted rate on Target the few days before the big Prime Day event happens. So that's kind of an interesting thing to consider, how you're going to be balancing out the pricing. And then there's also Walmart, because everyone wants to make sure that we have, price parity along, on all of the platforms, and that could cause you to lose the buy box. So could maybe be something to consider if you want to tighten up your strategy with any discounts, or make sure that you have the same exact discount across the board, kind of even before the Prime Day deal event starts. That could be a strategy. So I'm curious to know if anyone knows a strategy to deal with this and what you maybe did last year. If you want to put that in the comments below, I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because I think that's going to be kind of a big issue, especially as more sellers are on Target, on Walmart, on Amazon, on TikTok, on all the different platforms. So really need to strategize when it comes to these big deal days. Okay. And the next thing, I actually don't have an article to share, but Walmart actually has announced that they have some cash advances with discounted fees going into Q4. I think mostly to help prepare for the holiday rush and to help with working capital, especially, cash flow is kind of a really challenging thing for sellers. So Walmart is going to be making some capital available through Capital by Paraffin and Payoneer. And so if you're eligible, you can actually go into Seller Center and you can, figure out how to kind of get access to that funding. I think it will actually kind of pop up in there if you are eligible for it, but if not, you can also message seller support and see if you're eligible for some of their funding. And then they also have a pricing insights dashboard. And I think that this is going to be very helpful going into holidays. It's basically going to help you regularly monitor your pricing throughout the holidays. And that is, just to make sure that you stay competitive. And it's going to help kind of give you an insight on the pricing insights dashboard that gives you, pricing metrics at the SKU level to help you make good decisions if you need to kind of discount your products further, or, if you're in good competition with other sellers. The dashboard is actually going to be refreshed regularly so that you can act quickly to update an item pricing, either individually or in bulk. And the dashboard also gives you flexibility to add items to the Repricer or make price updates in the dashboard without having to submit spec files. So they're making it easy and fast for you to, kind of see what you need to do in terms of pricing and then make those changes as quickly as possible. So that's kind of the latest and greatest updated news for Walmart. Okay, so we have a new Helium 10 update, which is very exciting. If you are in France, Germany, Spain, Italy, or the UK markets, we are releasing keyword sales data in Cerebro, Magnet, Listing Builder, Listing Analyzer, Keyword Tracker, Insights Dashboard, and Product Launchpad for all of those countries. So again, those European countries are France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and the UK. So I'm going to show you what that actually looks like. So here is a picture of, this is actually the US market, but this is what it'll look like in any of those markets that I just mentioned. You're going to be able to see the keyword sales in the dashboard. So in your Insights dashboard, right when you log in, you'll also be able to see them in Cerebro. So this keyword sales data for, again, all those other markets in Europe, the France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and the UK. You'll also be able to see it in Magnet, as you can see here. So we've got Magnet right here. You can see the keyword sales right here, and then listing. So this is Listing Analyzer. And at the very bottom where you see the keywords, you can now see the keyword sales there as well. At Listing Builder, now when you go to Open Competitor Comparison, when you actually look at this, you can see the keyword sales here. So that's really helpful for you to kind of like basically decide which are the most important keywords based on the keyword sales when you do that little competitor listing comparison there. And then you can also see it in Product Launchpad. So when you have your Product Launchpad open, you can actually see the keyword sales for all those different keywords that you added into your Product Launchpad idea. There's definitely a lot of really good stuff in there. If you are in those markets, those are huge updates for us to give you that data, especially because it's going to help you to kind of make sure you're targeting the most important keywords that have, the higher keyword sales and maybe lower search volumes. So definitely take a look at that if you're in those markets. Really, really helpful information. Next, I'm going to be showing you portals in Helium 10. I'm going to show you how you can take an FNSKU and create a custom barcode label to give to your factory in China or other, countries. And I'm going to walk you through the flow and show you how to do this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to log into Helium 10, and then you're going to go to this tools button at the very top, and then we're going to go down and we're going to click on portals. And then once you're in portals, you're going to be able to see a bunch of different things. But what we're going to show you today is this barcode labels. And this is going to be how we're going to be able to create these labels for our factories. So click on new barcode. And what you want to have in here is you want to have either an FNSKU, an ASIN, or a UPC code. I have an FNSKU here. I'm just going to paste in there. And then the next thing you want to do is you can put the product URL if you already have it launched, or you can create a custom product URL. So you can put the product name, you can upload an image, you can say the condition, you can put the ASIN and the SKU in. But I'm just going to go and take our URL from Amazon here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way because it makes it a lot faster. And then it's going to pull up all the information here. So you can see it has the picture of the actual product. It has, and then you can fill in the SKU. If it doesn't show up with the SKU, you can fill in your SKU there. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit save and continue. And then we're going to look at the size. So you can actually choose the size, how you want to show it. You want to show it in inches, centimeters, millimeters. You can choose the different sizes here. And then you can do either portrait or landscape, and then hit save and continue. And then you're going to choose the template. So I'm just going to choose this generic black one. And since I actually in Portals have uploaded my logo here, you can see that we have all that information in here already. And you can actually provide more information right here if you wanted to, whatever it is that you want to type in there if you need to. And then what you can do is hit save and finish. And then if you want to download this, you can just hit the download button. And then we always recommend that you test these out before you send them. So make sure you test it out with a smartphone or, any apps that you can scan any of these just to make sure that it works properly, and always test before you're, mass produce. And then you can just download it, and you'll see that as you download it here, and there it is right there. So that is basically super easy how you can just create those little barcode labels. We've made it super easy for you to do. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't ever done that before. It makes it super fast and easy. Thank you all for joining me this week on the Weekly Buzz for all the latest and greatest news stories, as well as the Helium 10 updates and the training. We look forward to seeing you again next week. I do believe Bradley will be back next week for the Weekly Buzz. So we'll see you next week to see what's buzzing. Bye, everyone.